Howdy, dear magical friends. Willkommen to your weekly horoscope and taroscope with me, Natalie, spelled Natalee. In this video, we're going to open up the astrology and the collective energy of the week ahead using remote viewing, Western traditional astrological interpretation, and the tarot. So make sure that you are liking this video, that you are subscribed to the channel, and that you have toggled the notification bell so that you are assured to always get all of your messages. I'm calling this week Be Ready for Great News because she's showing me the Three of Cups tarot card. It's very much a celebration energy, and this really feels like a family celebration. This feels like you and family members are coming together and maybe celebrating one person or one win that everyone, when one person wins, everyone wins. So whether that's in like a family or in your tribe or in your work setting, if you have your own company and you have a great, work culture, it's like, that's really what it feels like. She's showing me the Three of Cups tarot card. She's also showing me plastic goblets. So this is definitely not going to resonate for everyone, but it'll definitely make sense for someone, for whoever I'm channeling. She's showing me these plastic goblets that it's almost like you go to a Disney on Ice type of a thing, like a show, and you go to the souvenir shop and you get these plastic, chalices or plastic goblets. And I'm seeing clear with sparkles, pink and purple with sparkles. So, I mean, this is very much like some sort of princess type of theme. It doesn't have to be. It could also be any kind of memorabilia or souvenir that you bring home from like an event, like a basketball game or some kind of game or something. So she's showing me these goblets and it's very happy, it's very endearing, and it's very special. She's also giving me this insight. It's like I can hear someone in their mind talking to themselves about this week ahead. So you might have something important coming up this week. This really feels like some kind of audition or a presentation or just like some kind of big thing that you're psyching yourself up for. Like I can sort of hear you like on Sunday psyching yourself up, gearing up for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I'm here to tell you that it goes well. It's great news, great feedback, whatever it happens to be. It's not me. I have a completely normal week ahead. I don't audition anymore. I'm much more happier writing for my muses. So if you have anything like that, just know that you're doing well. You're going to do great feedback, great news, and you're doing very well, because this is almost like you've been trying to beat back negative thinking. So if you've been trying to just simply work on thinking positive or thinking positive about something that you've got coming up this week, it's going to go well, it's going to go great, and it's going to be positive. So it's like, well done on you for trying hard at thinking positively, because it's going to be reinforced this week. That's what it's going to be reinforced this week because of the good news or because of the good thing that happens, however this goes. Okay, let's take a look at the astrology. Welcome to Monday. I am calling Monday the 27th of February fire lit. This is because we have the moon. Look at that moon right there meeting up with Mars and Gemini. Together they will be sextiling over to Jupiter in Aries. So this is, let me do the sextile first. So the sextile is a lighter energy, but this is the inspiration. This is like seeking inspiration until the moment of creativity strikes. That's the sextile. So there's going to be something that inspires you. Follow that breadcrumb. If there's ever anything that stimulates the curiosity or inspires you for stuff, follow that. See where that goes. For me, I'm either writing or I'm reading. I get this from my mother. My mother's a Virgo. Whenever I'm even like stuck on a story and I'm trying to like crack it, I'm just really she always helps me with this. I just talk to her. I just talk to her about it. I just talk about what's going on and she just, I don't know, she's brilliant. But growing up I always saw her with like literally like a stack, sitting next to a stack of books, and she would have her sunflower seeds, and she would just, when she would get bored of the book she was reading, she'd put it down. It would be like a fiction and she'd pick up a fantasy. then put the fantasy down, pick up a biography or a nonfiction, then a mystery thriller. So she would be reading for a really long time, essentially. So that's where I get that from. So it's like whatever that is for you, though, you know, find for me it's reading and writing, but for you, whatever the inspiration is, if you're trying to, you know, solve some kind of money problem, a dynamic at work issue, go for a walk, do your swimming, like whatever it is for you. Because when when the moon meets this Mars, that is when it strikes. That is when the aha moment happens, the moment strikes, and you get creative, you get up, you get going, and you know what to do. So you'll feel it viscerally, and you'll also feel it physically in your body. So for those of you that do like a moving meditation or a dance meditation, this is going to be great for you. Do that thing, go for the walk, go for the run. God, I can't believe I used to run when I was a small little child. I can't run to save my life now. So I'm like gasping for life. So, but whatever it is, whatever you do it, but it's going to be like physically. So make sure you have something that you can physically do on Monday to channel some of this energy, because for some people it will be like it'll just be a lot. It'll be a lot of like visceral energy. So you're going to need some kind of outlet. You're going to need some kind of like physical outlet for that energy on Monday. But the fire gets lit. So like I said, you'll feel like you'll know what to do or what to choose. And for some, it may be like cutting something out of your diet, cutting something out of your mind, or as an option or something. So just follow that moving intuition. Tuesday, February the 28th, I'm calling it the good word. And that moon in Gemini, moon in Gemini is trining over to Mercury in Aquarius, trining over to Saturn in Aquarius. They're getting pretty close. And then the moon will move into Cancer. So the moon trining over to Mercury and Saturn. Trining over to Mercury, this is spreading ideas. This is about the transfer of things that are very immaterial. So ideas, thoughts, words, opinions, that kind of thing. The trine to Saturn says make them good ideas, not gossip, not immaterial things that could be harmful or that could be, you know, detrimental. This is like, don't take the words for granted. Like, yes, we can pull words down and we have an abundance of them, but don't be like wasteful with them. You know, you're going to want them to be like I said, you're going to want them to be like good ideas, or you're going to want them to be purposeful or useful or constructive. Then the moon will enter the sign of Cancer, and that's just like an emotional homecoming. So the intuition dial gets turned up really, really, really high on that ingress when the moon enters Cancer. It's what I'm saying. I'm like zipping through this because I have a class soon, and I'm so excited for this class. I'm doing my telekinesis class today, step by step, what I do, and then we're troubleshooting the 3 biggest blockages. So if I'm a little zippy today, this is why. Okay, so Wednesday, I'm calling it boon news, like a big financial boon, okay, but like in news, because that moon in Cancer will square over to Venus in Aries. That's good feelings opening up super wide, and you have a lot of energy like that this week that opens up your heart or your emotional space. Like it's just a lot of good feeling this week, a lot of really positive good feelings. This is one of those days. Is Wednesday, squares over to Jupiter, moon squaring to Jupiter. Congratulations, well done. You know, just be careful not to overdo things. So if you are celebrating, if you are partaking, just be careful that you're not like, you know, too much champagne, caviar, naughty women type of thing. Don't want to go overboard, but let yourself have a great time. That's also the day of the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in the sign of Aries. This is it. This is where you get the approval, you get the celebration-worthy news. So it's really, really happy. It's like very buoyant and joyous, you know. So it's like you get it feels very much like an approval, but it could also be you venturing out into doing something or taking some kind of decisive action that you had maybe sort of doubted yourself or been a little bit insecure about doing or taking previously. So here's the thing, when you do that, you really make your own luck. You write your own ticket. So this kind of energy this week really favors that. It favors that if you're doing that. It favors that if you're the one going out to do this. It favors it both ways. So it'll be good and fortuitous for you to listen to your intuition and be as like independent and strong minded and strong willed to listen to yourself and trust yourself to go forward. You're going to be blessed and you're going to have some luck with that. Like you're going to have some support. And then also on the other side, so if you do need some kind of approval or support, you need an extension on your credit, you know, anything like that, you get the approval from the higher up, you get the approval from the VIP as well. But it's still you taking the initiative. It's still you kind of doing something. Maybe you bring up something very progressive that they weren't ready for, but they're ready for it now, type of, that's like one example. So it's really good news on Wednesday. So celebrate, but just keep the celebrating, you know, in some proper perspective is all. Thursday, March the 2nd, I'm calling important conversations because this is Mercury conjuncting Saturn in Aquarius. And guys, I'm so happy to be able to give good news about a week, you know, or about something, because in this day and age, it's very like, oh my God, like what next? So this Mercury conjuncting Saturn is the only little thing that could be a little bit of a wet blanket, but that only is going to be determined on how you have been working this energy since December 2020. Okay, this is a consolidation message. The lessons that we've all been learning in the Aquarius area of life since December 2020 really come down to this last moment. This is a consolidation of everything that we've been trying to learn in the Aquarius area of life since December 2020, which can indicate that there are very important and consequential conversations and discussions, but also documents. There could be some physical evidence or physical contracts or physical documents and paperwork that surfaces that will need our attention at this time. And, you know, this is going to be, I feel like, very serious for the positive, because this is going to be in your own mind. You will understand. You will have this is like a conversation between a very curious person and a very wise person. You know, maybe they have coffee on the porch and they're just looking at nature. They're looking at a creek or a stream, or they're watching some house being built in the distance, and they're just talking about life. And this could be the moment where the very curious person gets it, where they get some kind of like understanding that maybe was previously a little bit too big for them to hold conceptually, where they've been talking about it, or they've been talking about life, or they've been trying to crack a problem since December 2020, and the wizened older person has been, you know, trying to teach them through anecdotes and through stories and personal experiences, and trying to lead them and like leaving breadcrumbs and clues for them to kind of latch onto so that they can develop it. This could have been a little bit Socratic, you know, maybe the wizened person has been trying to teach through asking the curious person questions since December 2020 and letting that function in the curious person's mind. You're both of these people, by the way. I'm telling it like this, but you're Mercury and your Saturn. So there's a part of you that has been trying to learn something and being very curious, and there's a part of you that has been also wanting to mature and grow wiser and grow into more stability because of what you're learning and because of what you're trying to learn about this Aquarius area of your life. So you're both of these energies, and these energies have also been playing out in your situations, in your dynamics, in your relationships, in your health. You know, for some of you, this is going to be like an important health diagnosis or a final health checkup that, okay, you did all of the things, you listened to the doctor and you changed your diet and it all worked and you're going to be great now. Or, you know, whatever it is, you're going to know where you stand in this area of life moving forward, because March is going to be absolutely wild. Like this is really great news coming in this week, and then there's a lot of change. I mean, it's something after another, one thing after another in March. So I mean, I'm doing the monthlies, right? And I'm like, I break all of this down every week for every single zodiac sign on the Patreon, patreon.com/TheFirstArteagan. So if you guys want to know where is this happening for you? Where is the good news and where is the firming up? Patreon.com/TheFirstArteagan. We would love to welcome you to our strange little club. So this is that moment where you get that information. You get the information, you get the document, or you sign the document, or you make the commitment, or you know where you stand with it. And then, you know, but with that Venus Jupiter in the background, I feel like you're just really going to be happy. Like, I feel like you're going to be really happy about, you know, how far you've come, and you're going to be very optimistic about where you're going. So, you know, give yourself a little pat on the back there. Also on Thursday, see, that's the last thing Mercury is going to do before ingressing into Pisces. So it's like you wrap up a very big thing, and, you know, you wrap it up, and then the mind focuses on creativity or spirituality, or the mind goes somewhere totally else when Mercury ingresses into Pisces. These are very different energies. So mentally, you've been putting it together conceptually, you've been having discussions, you've been architecting the last few weeks. So you finish architecting, you finish what you're building with Saturn, and then mentally you get to just play. Mercury in Pisces is about intelligence through play. And this is one of the reasons why I love children, is because they learn through play. So all you have to do is play. All you have to do is have fun. All you have to do is, I love it. I love it so much. Like, you just get a vacation from your life when you're with kids. You know, nothing else is like, there's good boundaries with that. Like, when you're playing with your kids, you just don't need to worry about anything. You're just in their world, and you're helping them build their worlds. And, you know, it's just absolutely fun. And those moments of wisdom, those moments of teaching come up organically when you're playing with your kids. They're going to be playing with dolls, and they're going to replay the same conversation with these two dolls over and over again. They're going to come in the front door, they're going to invite them to tea, and then they're going to kick them out, and then they're going to do that over and over again. And then they're going to ask you a question about life, or you're going to see a moment, you're going to see an opportunity to teach them something about life. And that's all that you do. That's all it is they're living your life until they're 18, first of all. Whatever you're doing, like, they're just there for the ride. They're living your life. And when you're playing with them, they have the imagination where they can understand way more than people give them credit for. It just has to be put in the right context and in the way that they can understand it. But they can grasp some very wise things when their brain waves are still slow enough to feel like everything is very surreal. I won't get into the alpha and the beta brain waves. That's a different conversation for a different time. I'm talking about Mercury and Pisces here. But this is like that. This is where you get to just play and have fun and let the moments of wisdom bubble up to the surface naturally, like bubbles breaking on the surface of the water. They'll come up naturally and organically, and that's how the wisdom and the intelligence will come through over the next 3 weeks. Now Mercury's going to zip through Aries. Mercury's going to zip through Pisces. So you're not going to have, you want to just get as much as you possibly can out of this dreaminess. So have fun with this. This is also promoting telepathic communication or spiritual communication, creative thinking. You're going to be able to solve problems, not from the approach of Mercury in Aquarius, which was much more airy and logical and rational. And, you know, you were trying to architect with straight lines and planes and reasoning. Now you're going to be using your intuition in your mind to feel the right solution, to feel out the answers. So you can, like I said, be connecting more on a telepathic level with people. This is a bit more of a verbally silent transit. So like my niece, for instance, who I'm thinking about when I'm talking about playing with kids. So my niece has Mercury in Pisces. And when she was really little, she would say things, like if she was really upset, she would just say, I can't talk about it right now. You know, because you're trying to ask her questions, trying to ask her how she feels, and she would just say, I can't talk about it right now. I can't talk about it. you know, and it's just too much to put into words, especially for small children. But there's the knowing. So there could be knowings, things that you know, but either you cannot put it into words yet, or for some reason it will call for not verbalizing it, like not speaking it. So let it percolate. Let all of that, so much of my writing happens when I'm just like staring out into space. I look like I'm not working, but I promise I am, because it's like it needs to just percolate. It just needs to, and that's really like the fun part. That's really the fun part, you know, um, is in that spacey space, and then you write it down, and then you just do the thing, you know. So that'll be, I'm excited for that. That'll be really fun. Okay, back down to earth. So on Thursday, the moon in Cancer is also going to trine over to Neptune in Pisces. That's a lot of empathy, a lot of love, a lot of compassion. That moon in Cancer is also going to oppose Pluto in Capricorn. This will be a meaningful meeting. This will be very meaningful. Very meaningful. And it'll be meaningful because it's going to help you reconcile how something is changing. So, you know, what are these revelations? What has been architected? What is being firming up in your life? What is stabilizing? What's really happy, and where's all the good news coming in? You know, follow all of that, all those breadcrumbs, because you're going to have a deep insight into how things are changing. You know, some of you are going to have big changes this week, and some of you are just going to get the indications that there's going to be big changes, and then the big changes are going to be starting to affect in March. So let's all just gird our loins for it, but enjoy this week because it's going to be a good week. Friday, March the 3rd, I'm calling it healing. This is a very healing day. The moon will ingress into Leo, and the heart opens up very wide. This is very impassioned, very self-expressive, very, you know, do what's fun, you know, be who you are, engage in childlike fun and childlike behavior. It'll just feel really good. So just, you know, have the cotton candy, walk around, do whatever you want, whatever will make you feel good, whatever opens up that heart. Also on Friday, Venus will conjunct Chiron in Aries. This is a vulnerable spot that gets a gentle touch, and what I'm getting from this is that show Boardwalk Empire had that character with the prosthetic. It was like half of his face was like, it was like all of this, and like partial of this was like all prosthetic, but it was like 1930s prosthetic, so it was like wooden, and it was like painted eyes, like it was just not very convincing. This energy on Friday, it's healing because it's like you take off your prosthetic and you're like, you know, you're like, you don't really want to be visible, but you take off the prosthetic, and the person looking at you smiles and looks at you, and like looks in your eye, and just really like just exudes a lot of love and care and acceptance and safety and security. So it's like a vulnerability that you show, but that gets really received lovingly and gently and respectfully and safely. So this could be touching on something like modern day, something going on in your life now, but this can also go a little bit under the radar, where people not really even know that you're insecure about something. May not even know that. I'm saying prosthetic because it's a very obvious, clear thing that she showed me. I'm like, oh, that makes such sense. But, you know, this could be a little bit more, you're going to feel it. That's all that matters, is that you're going to feel it on the inside, that moment of vulnerability being met with like love and grace and acceptance. So that's going to be nice. Saturday, on the 4th of March, on Saturday, I'm calling it positive pivots. So we have, now the moon's gaining in light. We're on our way marching towards a full moon in Virgo. And that's where everything happens. I'm really excited. My mother's a Virgo, and so it makes so much sense that she's like a reader and a writer and all these things. But this is like a great full moon for her, and I'm pretty excited about this for all Virgos, to be honest, but you know, my mom especially, of course. So Actually, Virgo's up right now. So if you can see this moon right behind Virgo, this is like a pretty full. So it's an easy flow because the moon in Leo is going to trine over to Jupiter and Venus in Aries. So that's an easy flow. There's cash deposits, there's compliments that people just give you out of nowhere. There's greater access that you have to your emotions, your psychic ability, your self-awareness, greater access in your friendships, in your, getting to relate to other people, expressing yourself, but expressing yourself and having it be received like very lovingly. It's like being vulnerable, putting yourself out there, and then getting like a warm reception and like a welcome, like, yes, let's see more of that, or, so it's really nice, really nice. That same moon in Leo is going to square over to Uranus and Taurus. So look at any new or different or unfamiliar elements as how they can be an asset to you, or how an audience, or maybe even just an audience of one person, one witness to your heart's expression can be a game changer. How does that quote go? To the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you could be the world. So take that, it could be that there's something really, really special happening in your life, and in the world of craziness, and there's so many things happening everywhere at the same time, bringing it down to your world and your heart and honoring that heart is good for the world. It's like my new banner in my YouTube banner, that little monologue, which is so interesting because the script doesn't have it that way. So I'm like, where did that come from? Like, who improvised that? Who came up with that? And help that script along. But that's what that means, is you following your heart is good for the world in ways that you don't need to understand, because that's how animals and bugs work. Like, they're just doing what's natural for them, and they're not, if they overthought it, if bees overthunk what they do, we'd all be in trouble. So, it's like, that's the vibe. That's the vibe. And with that square to Uranus, like, there could be something new and unfamiliar, or just sort of like new and different, that you may need to incorporate that into your life or into your process in some way, shape, or form. And so view it as an asset, view it as something that can help you thinking a different way, having a different perspective, using different tools, all of that. Sunday, March the 5th, I am calling ethics. This is because the moon in Leo is going to oppose, oh, there it is, Saturn in Aquarius. So Saturn and Pluto are at the 29th degrees of their signs. So in March, you guys, we have Mercury changing signs twice, including an exterior Mercury cazimi moment. We have Pluto and Saturn changing signs. We have Mars getting out of a seven-month retrograde in a sign, changing signs. We have two lunations that feature Mars very prominently, and Moon Mars is always so like action-packed and very visceral. It's just like one thing after. Venus is changing. Is Venus changing signs? Venus is changing signs too. Venus is changing signs too. So it's just a lot of change. Back to Sunday. Let's keep it local. The moon opposing Saturn. So you're ending a 2.5-year cycle, ending a 20-year cycle, and you're beginning a new 2.5-year cycle, beginning a new 20-year cycle. Sorry, I said I was going to keep it local. Sunday, the 5th of March, the moon in Leo opposes Saturn in Aquarius. This means showing up with a balance professionally, showing up with the right balance of self-expression and adhering to the social etiquette. I'll say etiquette, but it's sort of like this, like not even like the social norm, because Saturn in Aquarius is more about like honesty, and the lower vibration is more concerned about ego and going along to get along. So you know it's manifesting negatively if there's like if someone's sort of like if there's like depression or awkwardness, or someone feeling like kind of stifled creatively, or feeling stifled with like a burden, or like, if you made like a commitment to something that you don't really have the passion for anymore, just something like that. So there could be a little bit of a wet blanket, but no matter what's going on, everything is so positive that it shouldn't be anything that overwhelms you, that it shouldn't be anything that you cannot handle, or that you cannot feel like you cannot handle. So just focus on the balance of, if you have to do something grinding out, if you have to finish some assignment or something, have a mental boundary, an emotional boundary with yourself that is going to help you get the work done, and then go for ice cream afterwards. The last weekend of every month I work those weekends because I'm doing the monthlies for the next month, and I like to have my monthlies out ahead of time, ahead of the month. So that means in February, doing March monthlies in February. So, for me, that has actually for me been really difficult with my work boundaries, because I'll just work until it gets done. Like, me having Saturdays off is a new thing that I incorporated, I think maybe last year, but like the middle of last year or something. Because I just care about the work getting done. Like, I could stay there for 12 hours and just not go home, and I can curl up in a chair like a cat and take a nap. I can eat my crackers in my bag, and just live off chocolate chip cookies and my epic water bottle. Because I just care about the work getting done. Like, I don't care about complaining. I hate listening. I think everyone doesn't like to listen to complaining and complainers, but like, I don't like to hear it out of my own mouth. Like, so I don't like it. I just want to get it done. I just want to get it done. So, kind of like Don Draper and Peggy Olson, they're trying to figure out some advertising, quandary, and they're at like a diner, and it's 4 a.m. and they haven't figured it out, and it's like, but you just, I don't know, I just care about, but that's a work boundary thing that Capricorn Aquarius people kind of have, and workaholics is like, I don't know, we just love it. I just love it. So, but try for the balance, you can't do that. That's not sustainable. So I had to learn how to have better work boundaries with myself, where, I gave myself Saturdays off, and it's a great compromise, and I'm very happy. So, be a good judge of yourself and of what's going on, where, sometimes you got to stay late and get the work done, and then sometimes you just need a break, and then you can get the work done a lot sooner than you thought, or that it would have taken if you just tried to push yourself through it. That's another like work hack, is still having that work ethic, but being smarter about it. So that was something that I learned last year. But anyway, it's not going to last long. This moon Saturn's not going to last long, so we don't need to harp on about it. But it's an ethical thing. So you do want to make sure that you are being ethical to yourself, that you're being good to yourself, so that it's not out of balance. You don't want to get yourself out of balance. Then the moon will ingress into Virgo, and we're officially in full moon territory because the full moon's going to be in Virgo, and we'll get a very good look. We'll get a very good look at all the details. Oh, that's what Virgo loves to do. Virgo loves the details. They will point out that apostrophe, or the Chicago comma. Like, like, they will just point out all of the things, those little minutia details. That's what Virgo does best. So we're going to get a good look at all the details in the Virgo area of our lives, where things may have even previously been up in the air or undecided, or we may have even been lacking certain details in order to move forward on something. We're going to be getting those next week, and there will be a fullness of that. Like, you're going to get more of like the missing pieces. So I see it as maybe there's some good news this week, and then it starts to play out in the weeks to follow. It's the problem with people that read and don't speak. Okay. Oh, I almost signed off. Let's take a look at your tarot. See, I'm so excited for my class. Okay. So excited. Okay, what else do we need to know about this week ahead for my people? Thank you very much. Like I said, I'm picking up this Three of Cups, very happy, very celebrating type of an energy. And then this, like, I'm hearing someone talking to themselves, like in a really happy, positive, affirming way. So keep doing that. That sounds lovely. And it's very like affirmative. So it's like you already know, and you know, you're going to get that confirmation of what you already know that you knew previously. Ooh, right away. Seven of Swords, the Chariot, and the Four of Wands. That's interesting. Okay. Where is it? There we go. Let's do this. Very interesting. So we have, oh, I love this energy. This is really clever. This is really clever and really smart. Really clever, really smart. You really can trust yourself. I hope you're trusting yourself at this time, because you're going to be able to, this is almost like a tenancy agreement, or like a celebration in the home, or moving people. Like someone's moved. This is, so she's giving me something of a different script that I wrote, you know, a few years ago. I'm not going to explain all of that, but it's this is like boarding and borders, and like there's something really smart there. So you may have, you know, a cousin that is studying somewhere and they need room and board, and you have a friend that has property there, so you call them up, and then you say, hey, you know, my cousin or my kid's coming out, can they stay there? And there's something like that. I feel like there's something like that. So, you know, this may even be a resource or an asset, or you may turn it into a resource or an asset, or something like that. Oh, very talkative. We've got the Seven of Cups, another seven, the Seven of Wands, and we have the Ace of Swords. Very victorious. You know, there's something to be said about this sort of living in the, I don't want to say living in the gray area. I don't want to say that it's almost like just making the best out of maybes, and I guess it is sort of like in the gray area, like just sort of being able to hold the tension of uncertainty. That's what it is. Being able to hold the tension of uncertainty, or a form of uncertainty, or being able to advocate for something against naysayers. Like there could definitely have been critics or critiques of something yet unknown, or possibilities. And this is a week where you get to like squash all of that, because you get a document, because you get a conversation that affirms and confirms something, because you get the go ahead, because there's some kind of bigger victory. Aww. The King of Cups. I'm watching 11/22/63 on Hulu right now, and I just saw the episode. I think it's like only like the second or third episode, where it's so interesting because he's a time traveler, and this is off a Stephen King novel, and my mother loves Stephen King. Like she was like almost always reading a Stephen King book growing up. And it's the episode where he's, spoiler alert, but he's talking to someone, and he's lying about his past because he's a time traveler, and he's like, because his credentials don't like match up, and he's like, oh, I knew this, I had a friend, Fredo. I had a friend Fredo and another friend of mine, Michael, had him killed, and I was a witness. And I'm in this, I'm in this, and he's like, I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to hide out before they pull me back in. Like it was so funny, and I wasn't expecting that, and he was just, it was really really funny. So it's you guys know this is my Michael Corleone card. So this is very endearing. I'm being such endearing, but that's exactly what I was just trying to describe. How I'm like, oh, it's like not like living in the gray, but like sliding. Oh, God bless it. What is it? When the ice is thin, skate fast. It's like this moment he was like, oh my God, I'm caught out. I don't have my credentials, and I'm being found out, and I have to save JFK. So he just comes up with something, and it's the Godfather story, and they're in 1960 at the 1961. They don't know it. She didn't even know what like the mafia was. It was really funny. So that's what this is though. It's like thinking quickly, or like still keeping the train going, or still being able to like move forward. And like that video of the cat running across the water, you just kind of like touch very lightly on something, but you use your momentum to keep going. God, these messages you guys really make me work. Okay, bottom of the deck, the King of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, and the Sun card. Look I told you good news. Told you very good news. You're going to be very affirmed and confirmed that you kept the mentality very strong, because you're going to get that confirmation. You're going to get the assurance, and it's going to be you're going to be very proud of yourself. Like it's going to be very affirming of your mental strength and your psychological strength and your mentality. So especially if you've been trying to like think more positively or think more whatever, it's going to come through. All of that hard work comes through. That's what I tell my students. You just try and you keep going. If you get overwhelmed, take a break, but keep going and don't stop, because eventually you're going to get up to try and you're going to do it. The wall disappears. That's what it was like learning German. So that's how I know that. Like, but you have to just keep trying. And then one day you're going to get up to try, whether it's learning German or whether it's getting over a breakup. One day you're going to wake up and you're not going to care anymore. Or one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be over it. Or one day you're going to just know the nominative cases, or you're going to know the, Daddy Das and Dane and Dame and all the mother of pearl, So that's what you're going to be rewarded with, is that you are happy that you didn't give up, that you kept going. Let's take a look at this over here, the Four of Wands, the Chariot, and the Seven of Swords. I feel like, again, that's very clever. Very more clever than anything. Oh, I'm using the Nightmare Before. My mom got me this, the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck. So here we have the Hermit, the Queen of Needles, which is the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Candles, which is the Queen of Wands. I like it. I like it a lot. I actually wrote the sequel to The Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm working on the music now, like the songs, but I don't know if I don't know how that works. Like if you, I don't know. Oh, that's a good question to ask. Like as far as screenwriting, like I don't know if I do the lyrics or if I just like let that be for Danny Elfman or like whoever. Anyway, okay. Anyway, I just like to do what I like to do. So I like this a lot because this is very clever. And this is like knowing when to just it's like knowing when to and when to really rah. So I like it a lot, and it looks really great. Like there could, like I said, be some kind of hidden asset or hidden resource either in your family or in a home and property situation, and it's like it could really roar to life. Like there could be something that really comes through very strong and brightly, maybe out of nowhere, but it's like, be clever, like ask around, tap your social capital or your networks or however that works, and just like, I don't know, ask around, because there could be some cool stuff and cool people too. Okay, let's take a look at this with the thinking very quickly, like on your feet with this. Seven of Cups, Seven of Wands. And like I said, you definitely have had to defend this. Like you've had to have good boundaries with this to other people criticizing you, and even like your own mind, like, no, it's going to be, we're going to do it. And it's the Death card, the Cemetery. This is Halloween. Halloween, Halloween. This changes things. This victory changes things. That's what I'll say. This big victory that you have, whatever you're doing, this changes things. Changes things. The victory changes things. Let's take a look at King of Cups over here. Anything we need to know about them? It's like, where'd they go? We have two cards. We have the Page of Presents. Oh, we have the Five of Candles. Halloween Town's favorite trick or treaters. This is so cute. Wow. Ooh, this is like, okay, what she's showing me that scene in the movie where they're trying to see how she's even choking him in this one, in this, in the pictogram. She's showing me the scene where they are getting ready to go kidnap Sandy Claus, and they're all competing. And they're all pitching ideas of how to do it. You know, one wants to kill him this way, one wants to capture him that way. They have a clawfoot bathtub involved. They've got all these weaponries. She's showing me that. So there's like, this is almost like some kind of competition that you win or something like that. So this is an emotionally mature person. I mean, it could also be a very spiritual or very creative person, but this is about choosing your how do I put this? Because the Page of Presents, the Page of Pentacles, is about starting something new, but like on good foundation, starting something new with integrity, starting something new, definitely anything having to do with something solid and material. So this is almost like you put your, you could even have like, if this is a little bit more financial, you could have tested a couple of different revenue streams. You put up a couple of different passive revenue streams, and they were all competing with each other for, you know, or not really, they were competing with each other, but you were watching them to see what's going to survive or what's going to do well. And then you pick the one that is providing the most return, or you're going to pick the one that is the stablest, or that's the strongest, or that has the most integrity, and you choose that one. So that's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Ooh, this is great news. Like I said, this is very great news. You got this victory coming out of nowhere. You have another victory or wonderful word coming through. You've got great news, rewards for your mental strength, and you have a lot of divine feather. You have the Turkey, bottom of the deck. Honor your own time of harvest. Offer your gifts and blessings. Hold on. I'm ready to go outside and play. I'm ready to go do my telekinesis class. Honor your own time of harvest. Offer your gifts and blessings as service to the greater good. So everyone's in their own time. Everyone's in their own timeline. Everyone's got their own, like, your own time of harvest. You also have the Canary. Step forward now and sing your song. There is power in finding your voice. So some of you could actually be like singing or saying something with all these sword energies. We also have the Magpie. Reevaluate your priorities. It is time to let go of what you no longer need. So I would say that this is more of Xing out those revenue streams that were maybe struggling or took a lot more of your labor. You know, if it's your labor, that's a job. That's not an investment producing passive income. You know what I'm saying? So you might have to cull the herd a little bit with some stuff. Blackbird is your last one. The magical and unique qualities of your untapped potential are unfolding now. So that's really exciting. This is untapped potential. Who doesn't love to tap into their untapped potential? It is unfolding in a very fun and beautiful way, my darlings. Okay, my loves. I love you guys. Take very good care. Make sure that you are telling the algorithm you want more of my content by liking, subscribing, and toggling the notification bell so you are assured to always get all of your messages. If you would like to learn remote viewing, telekinesis, astral travel, lucid dreaming, or if you would simply like additional astrology and tarot readings just like this one for your sun, moon, and rising signs on a weekly and monthly basis, bookmark the patreon.com/TheFirstArteagan. And when you are ready to join the club, we will be happy to welcome you. We're a great bunch. We all love The Nightmare Before Christmas, so you can't go wrong. Until next time, my loves, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful headstockings.